X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm the bad boy of X-Men podcasting, Zach Jenkins. Adam, how are you today?
I'm feeling magical. It is my birthday.
It is your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And we're kicking it like it's 2017. We're doing back-to-back episode recordings tonight.
Did we do that in 20? No, that's when we started. We did triples.
We did
triples. Were safest.
We're not doing a triple.
Triples were the best.
They were the safest.
We should do triples again sometime. Just like a Sunday afternoon. We were like, okay, all day, Adam. We're doing. I got football on one screen, and we're going to do 8 episodes of the podcast right in a row
with live football commentary in between. I don't know about that.
Y'all are going to get so mad about Green Bay Packers games from very literally a half season ago.
Oh, you're not a Jets fan now that your Vax denier switched teams?
I have been mad at Aaron Rodgers
I know you
for quite some time. I think we're all actually Adam's aware of this. Other people aren't aware of this. There was a running joke in our Slack. Every time Aaron Rodgers inevitably did something stupid, that one of our writers, Jude Jones, and me, who are pretty much like the two guys who watch the most football, at least the ones who talk about it the most, he would give me a hard time. I'd be like, yeah, I know. It's no one's happy about this. No one's happy about this at all. Here's the thing. I'm going to get on my soapbox. It was the moment that he got the rest of his team sick. And that's like, bud, now you're causing not just off the field stuff. Everyone, you should be vaccinated by now. If you're for some reason not COVID vaccinated, maybe go get that fixed at this point. It's been long enough, that they aren't taking over our brains with 4G or whatever it was.
Yeah, what was that nonsense? I don't know.
I don't know. Get vaccinated. Go Pack, go. I really hope Jordan Love does good this season. I'm really worried about it.
Good luck.
It's gonna be hard for me.
It's okay. Maybe there's
it's just weird that this has happened twice now. Much like Amanda Sefton becoming Magik. It's weird that it happened twice.
That's right, folks. This week we are talking about Magik, but not the Magik you are usually familiar with. This is none other than Day Tripper herself, Amanda Sefton Magik stories. Zach, who requested this interesting detour in the story of Magik?
Magik was requested by Jay Kennard over on patreon.com/Battle of the Atom. If you want to be like Jay, you can go on over to patreon.com/Battle of the Atom, reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks, and toss a couple of coins into our coffers, and then we'll do an episode that you want. I mean, no, we'll do a story. Here's the thing, and I just want to make this very clear on the requests. You get one. And we get to decide what the theme of the rest of the episode is based on that one.
Though we do like when people have wacky ideas.
Honestly, it's better if someone says, hey, here's a theme. I don't know what story, but I want something of this vibe.
We do like that.
That's fun for us. Because here's the thing. When we end up doing this, we end up planning the episodes five at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then at a certain point, it's us having fun and seeing how far we can stretch things. And I think any longtime listener of the show is aware of that.
Yes.
In this episode, we are honestly pretty well contained on Amanda Sefton because somebody asked somebody else about what Amanda Sefton stories we should cover.
We have some doozies, though. This is truly some boaterific stuff here. So I am excited to talk about these stories.
Well, let's start with Jay's request.
Yes. Which is
Out of the Pages of Black Sun.
Oh God. Which we will be talking about later in this episode.
Spoiler alert, we will later be talking about Black Sun. But Out of the Pages of Black Sun is X-Men Magik. This is written by Andy Lanning and Dan Abnett with pencils and inks and digital flourishes. I forget how he describes it. By Liam Sharp.
Uh-huh.
This is a comic that came out in the year 2000, and it is about Amanda Sefton being the ruler of Limbo and being Magik.
Yes. Now, we should probably note that the way Magik looks is different than the way that Ileana looks, because she does still have silver armor, but it's like, I don't know, sexier.
Amanda is a grown adult woman
Mm-hmm.
who has been in a long-term consensual relationship with her non-biologically related brother.
Yes, that's important to note.
People, if y'all don't know Amanda Sefton, here's what we're gonna do right here. Yeah, she's dating her adopted brother. We're not gonna get into it. We're not gonna. It's what's there to say?
What is there to say that hasn't been said already? And they were, these two characters will inevitably smooch in this episode. And frankly,
they will smooch more than once in this episode.
Yes. And frankly, I don't care. I don't. But
do you know why I don't care, Adam?
Why don't you care?
Because they are fictional characters.
They are fictional characters
in a made-up world. And one of them is a demon boy, and one of them is magic sword lady.
Yes. So anyway, this Magik does look different. She has some tribal tattoos around her navel. She's wearing variations on this silver armor with like a
she's wearing like a shawl.
Horns. Yeah. So immediately the book looks super heavy metal. Like this book is metal as hell. And it makes sense because I went back and checked Liam Sharp's resume, and he got his career started doing 2000 AD, right?
Yeah, so, Liam Sharp's a 2000 AD guy.
Exactly.
Liam Sharp, you won't be shocked to hear this. Liam Sharp drew the Gears of War comic?
That does not surprise me at all.
Is that an ongoing franchise? I honestly don't know. I don't know if people understand Gears of War from 2006. And just how much that video game that was dark and gritty and like tough and manly, and how it was the moment. It was like that, and 300 came out the next year, and that was the culture that I grew up in. Jesus. In case you are concerned about me, I'm concerned about myself.
Yeah,
but Gears of War did have a machine gun that was also a chainsaw.
Nice. That's fun. That's like horror movie fun.
It was great.
So if you've never seen Liam Sharp's art, it kind of looks a little Sam Keithy. It kind of looks a little Simon Bisley-y, and yet not really either of those artists. And as Zach mentioned, he also is throwing in these splash pages, 2-page spreads, little individual panels here and there that are created with some kind of early 2000s Photoshop nonsense.
Okay, so we're gonna get into it. Are the digital flourishes good?
Sometimes.
I think Liam Sharp, and we'll get into this with the story, but I think Liam Sharp can kind of see it. Like, I think Sharp understands and makes a choice with how he utilizes these.
Yes.
So this is a story. Magik is the ruler of Limbo, and other hells are being attacked and attacking Limbo, and something is going on. So there is this otherworldly, other dimensionally thing attacking hells.
Yes.
And Sharp specifically uses the digital flourishes to be like, hey, this is something that breaks reality here. And I love that conceptually.
Yeah.
In practice,
it's a little wonky.
In practice, it's still very bad CGI from the early 2000s. The Sharp's pencils, though,
so much fun.
Incredibly good.
Yeah.
Like, underratedly good. Not that Liam Sharp, guy who drew Death's Head 2, is underrated,
right?
But like Liam Sharp, pretty good.
Yeah, I agree that the digital pages are a little bit wacky. However, we have to remind our listeners that this is a story about all of the hells teaming up to defeat like a giant heavy metal cover art of a skull in the sky that's shooting magical triangles at everything and just destroying stuff, right? So which I hesitate to spoil it this early in the conversation, but the reveal of what it is they're fighting is really funny. Like, and made me love the stories so much more than it would have if it had been something else.
It ties in the fact that you have bad early 2000s CGI representing it,
Yes.
which is kind of like, again, I'm not the biggest Abnett and Lanning guy in the world. Like, I like their Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're pretty solid, and this is a very solid comic, and that's how it feels. Like, it's a team up with Magik, the custodian of Limbo.
Yep.
Kurt Wagner, who is a priest in this, and immediately
takes
gets
those
most
robes
of his
off.
Robes off, very horny the entire
Get that
time.
man a sword. He's slashing demons.
People think that Kurt stopped being a priest because of Holy War. That's not true. He stopped being a priest because he was legitimately too horny to be a priest. And then Holy War is him remembering him asking everyone and then being like, "What are you talking about, Kurt? That never happened. You were never a priest."
Yes.
People forget how insane that is. But it's hard for Kurt to be like, "Okay, well, I'm not horny." It's those two, Vichin, who is a new character in Limbo, who's like a wolf demon man.
He's kind of like Amanda's sim in a lot of ways.
He is, except for the fact that Amanda also has a sim who is Sim.
Sim does come back. Yes.
Sim is hiding.
Yes.
It's funny.
Yep.
But then all of these Hell Lords get around. Like, Dormammu comes to Limbo because he's like, someone ate the dark dimension.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Dormammu looks killer.
Yep.
They go rescue Mephisto, who, here's the thing. In this, I love all of the Hell Lords are just still the worst.
Oh, yeah. They're like, get out of here. This is my house. Like, what are you doing here? And then suddenly these little like triangles start raining down and killing everybody. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we could team up against this thing in the sky. That sounds fun.
It's weird that they mention off panel that Surtur got killed and murdered by this because he's Surtur from Thor.
Yep. And his entire realm just completely destroyed.
I don't think that is Thor canon.
No, I think that's just from this mini.
Here's the thing. I don't think anyone who was writing Thor, who I guess at this time it would have been Dan Jurgens.
That sounds right for the time.
Yeah, it would have been. Oh, Stuart Immonen drew.
Oh, okay.
I did not know Stuart Immonen was drawing the Dan Jurgens Thor. I don't want to read that. I thought that was mostly a JRJR joint.
Worth checking out, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, it's a Dan Jurgens comic.
Yeah. How exciting.
Anyway, I don't think that happened. But Surtur does get kill murdered. Mephisto then becomes like a large supporting character in this as they recruit all the other Hell Lords to get this thing away. And it becomes a really fun romp through everything.
Yeah, because they're just all kind of like bouncing ideas, competitive about like, well, wait a minute, if your hell's gone, does that mean like who's in charge? And wait, we have to play together in the sandbox. Like, I don't like this. And then we get the reveal. So at the beginning of these 4 issues, Magik makes a trip to our world to the 616 because she's working with a human who is trying to put together a digital library of every single magic spell in every single capacity possible, right? So
you can run a spell check on it.
It's essentially Google. It's Google for Magic. And what Google for Magic does is it basically becomes self-aware and tries to destroy hell. And so when they realize what it is, Nightcrawler just goes and blows up the computer. And it's the most beautiful, bonkers, silly thing I've ever read. It just made me so happy.
it does wrap up rather quickly. Like
It does.
in one hand, that's funny. On
It's
the other
really
hand,
funny.
a little anticlimactic.
Oh.
Death's Head also, or Death's Head 2 also shows up in this, which is a fun little bit. I always appreciated Death's Head 1 or 2 showing up, not
Yeah.
Death's Head 3. Never Death's Head 3.
No, just 1 and 2 is good.
The first Death's Head, the second Death's Head 3, not my jam.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's jam is Death's Head 3.
There's got to be somebody, Zach. There's always somebody.
You're
Googling who's...
Yeah, who likes Death's Head 3?
You're looking at...
Oh, I'm sorry. Bands. It's Death's Head 3.0.
Oh. Okay.
I mean...
Great.
Wait, I'm sorry. Death's Head 3.0 was in Wolverine Black, White, and Blood?
That was recent. Wasn't that last year?
No, that was 2021, buddy.
Okay, 2 years ago.
I read that one, too. Oh, wait. They killed him, and it was just a head or something of it. That's
okay.
Fine.
It's just
good job, Jed McKay.
Yeah.
That was the story where Wolverine and Magik go to Mars before Mars had been turned into Ayako.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, this is a pretty good place. We should do something about this. And I was like, hold on, Jed, because that was my idea.
Pretty sure it was Hickman's, but you had the same thought.
One, it was Hickman's in Avengers.
Yes.
To have the Avengers do it and have Ex Nihilo be there.
Mm-hmm.
2, it wasn't Hickman's idea to have Ayako be a thing. That was Jerry Duggan 100%.
Okay. Cool, man.
He talked about it on this very podcast on an episode no one can hear.
Yeah, because the audio got destroyed.
It doesn't exist anymore. We're not hiding it from you.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a heavy metal, rad, early 2000s book, this is your jam. Like,
yeah, we're not even
really enjoyed this. Here.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because it has the Black Sun label on it. I had never read this because I was like, Black Sun was so bad.
We'll get into that.
We will.
Yes.
This one's pretty good. I kind of like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I just want to just turn Metallica up really loud, or some other thrash metal and just page through this thing because it is a lot of fun.
Okay, of any of the big 4 thrash bands, I would say that Slayer's the closest to this.
Yeah,
I think that's
I like
fair.
the tone there.
Though honestly, I think the tone is closer to some power metal, new wave British heavy metal stuff of the mid to late 80s. I'm not even thinking Iron Maiden. I'm thinking Manowar. I'm thinking the Mask, Gamma Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I couldn't think of their name, but I was trying to think of what Master of Confusion, how that goes. I think something like that would be a little bit of the closer feel because it still gets that thrash kind of aesthetic and the same kind of influences of a Slayer and a Metallica or something like that, but with the high fantasy epic feels of an Iron Maiden or half of the Led Zeppelin songs that exist where they talk about the hobbits. Yeah.
That was a great aside there, Zach, with some good recommendations. And I think all of those would tonally fit this perfectly, because if this was not a Marvel comic, and you kind of filed the edges off on some of these characters, you could easily see this being something that was printed in Heavy Metal magazine. You could see this being something that maybe 2000 AD published because it's just
rules.
Yeah, because it's just a lot of fun. So that being said, I think we should rank it.
Hey, everyone, we're going to rank it on our big old list. We have 813 X-Men stories because we have been ranking them on this list from best.
We're working hard here, man.
The number 1 story is, of course, House of X Powers of 10. The number 100 is Wolverine the Shiva scenario, a story that has sat at 100 for a while. We haven't had one break in for
it's been a while.
Number 200 is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 17. That's a team up with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and also the X-Men. Number 300 is Uncanny X-Men Fear Itself. Number 400 is Secret Avengers 16. That's the time Beast did a genocide that we don't talk about. Number 500 is the X-Corpse arc of Uncanny X-Men. I guess X-Corps. I don't know why I said that. Number 600 is X-Force Annual number 3. That's the one where Danny is undercover as Moonstar, which is just her last name. Bad. That's a bad one. X-Men Unlimited number 17 is number 700 on this list. That's the face-off one. Number 800 is God Loves Man Kills 2. Number 813 is the worst X-Men story of all time, not collected in any omnibus that I know about. It's 2099 World of Tomorrow.
Yes. I am looking around 300 right now on the list.
I think the Liam Sharp art pushes this above Fear itself.
Okay. So we're in the 200s then, but I'm curious how high you would go, because this is interesting. I think it's a lot of fun. I also understand that it's also kind of a little goofy. So I don't know. Like I'm
272 is Extraordinary X-Men Kingdom's Fall, which is also fun and a little goofy. And I think this is better than that.
I like this more. In fact, the more I look up the list, I'm like, wow, this is kind of fun.
This is better than the 90s Bishop miniseries.
Yeah. At 247.
This is better than X Infernus.
Which is at 224. So we've really gotten into the top 25 of the 200s here.
Here's where I see where I have problems.
Yeah. I don't think this is better than the first 3 issues of Wolverine and the X-Men at 221. That's got that Chris art. It's just a great debut to the book for whatever we think about the rest of it.
Okay, yes, but then I do think this is probably better than X-Men Blue Cross Time Capers.
At 222.
A story that does involve the 2099 X-Men. And I don't want to be mad at Cullen Bunn, because Cullen Bunn, friend of the show, does have a custom hardcover of all of the issues of X-Men 2099. Mm-hmm. So I know Cullen knows his stuff. But the X-Men 2099, we're not right in that. And I want to think that's more RB Silva's fault for not getting the right reference for Metalhead, the character that always tells me whether you just read the first issue of X-Men 2099 or you read anything past the first issue of X-Men 2099. Right, I say it goes between those two.
All right. So this is going to be our new 222 Magik Volume 2. If you have ignored this for potentially the reasons we've stated, I highly recommend you track this down. Unfortunately, it is currently not on Unlimited. I don't believe. So, there are other ways to obtain comics. You probably
it's just without Marvel Unlimited, it's really hard to read comics online.
I'm sure.
I just think it is. I think it's a challenge that all of us face. How do we read comics online while still keeping our computer safe from viruses? Who knows?
Oh. That part is kind of true, but you could also probably just find this in a dollar bin somewhere.
Could you? I can't imagine that a lot of people bought it to begin with.
I don't know how many copies of this are floating out, and I don't think it was ever collected, which is a shame. I would love a little trade paperback of this.
You put a trade paperback of this together and a random assortment of other either Ileana Rasputin or Amanda Sefton related things. Here's what you do. You take these two, and then to fill out the trade paperback, you put in What If Magik and Doctor Strange the End.
Oh, that's great.
As like a double feature backup thing.
Let's do it.
Then you got a 7-issue trade. It's a little chunkier. You can put Magik on the cover. Mm-hmm. There you go. I have solved your problems.
Great marketing from a great mind. Zach, unfortunately, I think we're going into lower territory here, but let's figure out where we're going here. This is X-Men Unlimited number 19.
X-Men Unlimited 19 is part of the long-standing X-Men Unlimited series. It's written by Ben Robb.
Oh boy.
It's got art by Jim Calafiore. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a statement here.
Please do.
And I say this with all the respect in the world for this man as a human. I think Ben Robb might low-key be one of the worst X-Men writers of all time. Like, we don't think about it, but there's so many bad Ben Robb X-Men comics out there. And he loves it. Like, that Ben Robb really did want to do a good job on these. That's the thing. Like, I truly truly believe that he wanted to, but then they were bad actually after that.
All right, look, here's what I'm going to say. I didn't like this comic. However, does it start on page 1 with Margali Sardos murdering clowns, including what looks like a Siamese twin baby clown? I hate to laugh at that, but it's one of the most ridiculous ways you could possibly start a story that I have ever read in my life.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that did happen. Ben Robb did create those clowns in X-Men -1. Those are
Excalibur -1.
Excalibur, right? You're right. Those are established circus folk.
Yes. And it will turn out later that they are not dead. They just kind of pitched in their souls for a little experiment here.
Will be a theme of this episode as we continue.
Our villain in this particular issue is someone we did not mention who appears very early in the Magik Volume 2, which is Nightmare. And Nightmare believes that he has captured Margali Zardos. No,
he doesn't. What
I'm
are you talking about?
He believes that he has
Nightmare
captured... I've got it backwards. He believes
Adam.
that he has captured Amanda Sefton, and Nightcrawler is going to go and rescue.
Adam, Nightmare is not in this comic.
Who's the villain? Oh, it's Belasco. All right, can we back up and start over so I don't sound like an idiot?
I mean, you control the editing, but...
I don't even remember where we started. I started going on a Nightmare rant.
You went on a Nightmare rant, and I was saying, you're like, no, it's
not. It's Belasco.
This is Belasco.
You know what? I'm leaving all this in.
Maybe,
because when you're my age,
edit around it. But yeah,
when you're ancient and 43, you really do realize that your mind starts to slip. So yes, it is not Nightmare. It is Belasco. Thank you.
Belasco, unhappy with his treatment in the Soul Sword trilogy. And granted, I'm going to give Belasco some credit. I don't think anyone's happy with the Soul Sword trilogy.
It was pretty bad. Didn't make a lot of sense.
Pretty bad.
Yep.
Belasco wants to capture Margali Sardos so that he can take her place and move forward on the Winding Way, which is Margali's very specific magic goal.
Yeah, that's her magic deal.
But Margali has traded bodies with Amanda Sefton, her daughter.
Yep.
So that Amanda's actually captured. Margali is doing evil spells and smooching Kurt, which, okay.
That was weird.
Again, I know they're fictional. It is weird that it was a body swap thing and that that's her kid. Like, sister that you got raised with in what was frankly a very communal environment where the standard brother-sister household dynamic doesn't apply. That's one thing. That's your mom.
Body swapping with your daughter and kissing your son with that body. Weird. Definitely weird.
It's like the freakiest of Fridays that you could have.
The freakiest of Fridays. I think we got to name the episode that. That's great.
Legitimately, last week after we finished recording, I walked out and my wife was watching Freaky Friday.
Oh, yeah? It's solid. Solid classic.
It was fun. Listen, I'm going to be honest. This is my review of Disney's Freaky Friday from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan is really struggling to keep up with Jane Lynch. Or not Jane Lynch.
It's not Jane Lynch.
What's her name? Yogurt Poop Lady.
Come on. Halloween.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
You did it.
My wife yelled it.
Good work. Oh, you had a phone a friend.
From, she's just screaming through like a hallway and several doors.
Man, nothing says my age like the fact that I just made a "Do you want to be a millionaire" reference. What the heck is going on?
Hey, youths, you don't understand how big of a deal "Do You Want to Be a Millionaire" was. It was a primetime game show that everyone watched.
Zach, I was on it, man, every night when it first came on.
I was on it.
That was the most fun thing in the world. Remember when that happened? Remember Regis?
Regis, so charming. They tried to recapture that so much. Weakest Link tried and didn't get it off the ground. Deal or No Deal kept going. The problem with Deal or No Deal was that it was boring to watch.
Yeah. It was and if you had your own mind made up about how you gamble, it wasn't exciting to watch because whenever they hit a big amount, my mind went, oh, I'll take it. And like then inevitably the person was like, yeah, no deal. You know. Man, you'll notice we're not talking about this comic book. It's not good.
It's not good. Nightcrawler goes to Limbo, figures out that he's been double crossed.
Mhm.
He does tell the X-Men that actually this is a family affair. You wouldn't understand. And to their credit, Kitty and Colossus are like, "What are you talking about?"
Yes. We've known you for years. What are you talking about? We are your family.
Kurt, what? Amanda's one thing. We like Amanda. She's our friend.
Amanda was on our team. Like, remember?
For like a hot minute. Like, we're all friendly. I get that your mom secretly turned out to be evil, but
I'm also very confused how Kitty phased through the control panel of it's not the Blackbird, but whatever the Excalibur team uses. And yet it still flies in the next panel. So I guess Kitty didn't really do much to it.
their vehicle is the Midnight Runner.
See, I get confused because there's a couple different Excalibur vehicles. Like, isn't there the Dove? Isn't that at one point? Like,
No,
right
the Dove was what Bendis et al. Created for the White Blackbird in Battle of the Atom.
Oh, why did I think there was one of those in Excalibur? Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so they beat Belasco, right? They rescue Amanda. They switch bodies back. It turns out that all of these like clown murders didn't actually happen. It was all a ruse.
It was all an illusion.
Yeah. So the one thing that really did bug me about this is that Nightcrawler is like so adamant that Margali Zardos doesn't do evil stuff. And it's like, yeah, but
you saw her try and make a very big demon in London, like not that
she
long ago.
is
Kurt.
responsible for like 500,000 people dying in London. Like it's really not. I don't know when this is supposed to happen, but if it's supposed to happen when it does in Excalibur continuity, it doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. Here's a list of times I've enjoyed Margali Zardos being in a comic. X-Men Annual number 4.
Okay. First
I
appearance.
have not read the Man-Thing or the Man-Thing comic that she is in that Chris Claremont wrote, where I swear the editor's note on the cover by Danny Fingeroth says, I'm quoting this, "I give up. I can't write cover copy for this crazy book. I mean, how do I explain that Doctor Strange died and that Chris Claremont, writer of Man-Thing and X-Men, also buys it in this ish? Nobody's going to believe it. I admit, I don't even believe it, and I edit the book."
Isn't that the issue where it breaks the fourth wall and Chris Claremont becomes the nexus of all realities or something like that? It's a weird.
I don't know. I led this by saying I have not read that comic. Honestly, sounds
very
great.
strange.
I've not read the Roger Stern Doctor Strange comics where she appears because Chris Claremont was mad that she beat Doctor Strange, or because Roger Stern was mad that Chris Claremont had her beat Doctor Strange because she's a woman. I don't want to say Roger Stern's sexist. Frankly, I don't know enough about it. Chris Claremont had. No, I know that Chris Claremont wanted her to be more powerful because Chris Claremont loves to write powerful women.
Yes.
Anyway, every other comic she has been in, I have disliked. I can just straight up say that. The stuff she was in Legion of X, terrible. Truly just like, also, I'm more evil than I've ever been before.
Yeah, I think the closest, I mean, she makes appearances in Claremont's Nightcrawler solo.
But she's the worst part of Claremont's Nightcrawler.
But she is the worst part of it. Like, that's probably the closest it comes to being like mildly like a character that you want to spend time with, but even then you don't. So
I don't like Margali.
Yeah. So I did not like this. I will say the art is like fine, I guess. It's not like the worst thing in the world. It's really the writing that is not fun, and the fact that you have to depict like creepy clown freaks, like that's
the art is basic. It doesn't feel like Limbo. In my favorite Limbo stories, feels exciting, feels weird, feels different. Like
Yeah, this
Fraser
isn't-
Irving, Scotty Young, they draw some good limbo.
yeah, yeah. This is mainly kept to either the Belasco throne room or the, various like abandoned rockscapes that they travel through, and it's fine.
Limbo should be more than just rocks. Also, if we're listing guys who did Limbo Good Rod Race recently
Ooh.
in Vita's New Mutants, Vita and Rod's New
Yes.
Mutants,
Yes,
that Limbo was good. That was a good Limbo. Where should we put it? We don't have a Ben Rob category on this list.
But we do have a couple Rob Excalibur issues here that are pretty low. I'm thinking in particular about the Banffs Go Chucky issue.
This is
Which
better than that one.
That one was really rough. That one had Nightmare in it. Maybe I don't know why my brain went there.
My man, I can't tell you. Is it better than Excalibur Volume 2 at 625?
Oof, I do hate that. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. I think I agree with that. However, at 615 is the Age of Apocalypse X-Man
No,
first issues.
that's
It's
way
not
better.
better than that.
No.
This isn't as good as Search for Cyclops.
Nope, it's not. It's not as good as Exiles 100. It's not as good as New Mutants 62.
It's better than Spider-Man Team Up.
Okay. Is it better than Marvel Team Up Volume 3, number 19? I don't remember what was happening in that. What was that?
I also don't remember what was happening.
Marvel Team... Jeez, that's random. We should have put a note on that one. Marvel Team Up Volume 3... 19?
I just typed in MTU 19, and Michigan Technological University
that's the...
want me to know about the COVID-19 outreach and resources department that they have.
I believe this is... Is this Kirkman?
Yeah,
This is
MTU Volume 3 is Kirkman.
Yeah, this is the Kirkman Wolverine and Cable. And
sure, that can be better than this.
Sure. All right, so this is our new 624 X-Men Unlimited number 19. And I'm confident that this final story will rank lower than that. Because as we mentioned earlier today, in the episode, we are ranking X-Men Black Hole Sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? There's no hole. Anyway, this is X-Men Black Sun.
No, Hole's a different band.
This is Chris Claremont and a whole bunch
of
artists.
Chris Claremont plots all 5 issues.
Yes.
This is the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the new X-Men.
Sure is.
Just to be clear, we are almost at the 25th anniversary of X-Men Black Sun.
Good God. No one will be celebrating that.
So Claremont, no, we won't. Claremont scripts the whole thing, but Claremont plots the whole thing, but scripting it, Len Wein does an issue, Roy Thomas does an issue, Wheezy does an issue.
Yeah.
And then Claremont closes it out at the end with artists Thomas Dernick, Carl Waller, Altitha Martinez, and Pablo Raimondi.
Yes. And before we go any further, we do need to just talk about these absolutely awful Vince Evans covers on each of these 5 issues.
Truly insanely
really terrible. Really
Which
terrible.
What is your least favorite X-Men on it? Because I have a clear winner.
Oh, the clear winner is the 3rd issue, because it features the worst illustration of Banshee I've ever seen in my life. And above him is Sunfire, and he looks like he's reaching for a kidney bean. It's supposed to be one of the Bloodstones, but it literally looks like a kidney bean that you'd find in canned beans. It's so
You are
bad.
absolutely right. Underrated on this cover is the very morose Iceman.
Oh, he looks sad.
Look at sexy Squidward looking Iceman over there.
Yeah. Good God.
These covers are rough. Like, I know what they're going for, and I can appreciate it, but it's a failure. Also insane on these covers is that they are all wearing their Revolutions costumes,
Yes. Yep.
which are wild.
Yeah.
That. I do think if there's a best, it's that Beast that's on
Oh,
the
yeah.
issue number 4, where he's wearing when Beast has goggles all the time.
Yeah. You know what? He actually looks kind of fun. That
Kind
doesn't
of looks.
that doesn't look that bad.
I don't think he should ever wear it again, but I am entertained by Beast wearing a bunch of too many clothes in Revolution's era.
Oh my god. Do you want to take a shot at explaining the plot of Black Sun?
Hey, thank you for asking, Adam, because I would.
Okay.
You know about the Nagari, right?
Yes, the Nagari, the ones who get kind of activated when you knock over their little stone on the ground in the backyard.
They have a stone cairn on Charles Xavier's property, and they're demons that the X-Men fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Now you may have forgotten. I never would, of course, but you may have forgotten. You know about the Rutai?
The Rutai are back. Yes, but strangely no dreadlocks. I was disappointed in that.
Pilgrim, who is the
Two
one
M's.
here, does not.
2 M's.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Pilgrim never has dreadlocks, so that's fine.
$5 to whoever can tell me what Pilgrim's motivation is in this book.
Oh, I can. Easy. That's an easy one. Pilgrim, okay. If you recall the oversized X-Men 75.
Oh boy.
Adjectiveless X-Men 75, where we find out that the Nagari are actually a slave race for the Rutai, who are actual evil Nagari-looking guys that also look like maggots,
Mm-hmm.
but otherwise have no relationship to them.
No.
Pilgrim is mad because the Nagari are trying to assert control, so he wants to screw up their plans, because their plans involve getting Bloodstones for Belasco out of the original X-Men, but also not the original X-Men, because Scott's dead right now, or merged with Apocalypse. So they're like, well, Polaris was kind of on the team, and I'm going to be honest, you guys haven't. Chris Claremont had not gone back and read those comics in a bit.
Right.
It's weird that Roy Thomas also didn't point this out, because Roy wrote
corrects them.
It's like Polaris just she hangs out for 4 or 5 issues with them, but she's never really on the team.
No.
Neither's Havoc. They're not on the team.
Right.
They're around for a bit.
But for the purposes of this, right, we need it to be the all new, all different team versus the 05, but we don't have the 05.
The all new, all different team and Kitty.
Right.
But not Thunderbird, except for. So here's one thing I do wonder about this.
Yeah.
We all know about Neil Shara Thunderbird 3, the character that they were going to name after a Hindu fire deity, and they decided that would be offensive. So they said, well, he's Indian, so he can be the new Thunderbird, making the same mistake that Christopher Columbus did.
Good God.
It's weird that it happened twice.
Oh,
However,
man.
After reading Black Sun again, I'm starting to think that maybe they pushed that for Black Sun so that Thunderbird would be in here.
It's possible, but this Thunderbird is on the 05 side.
Spiritually, Thunderbird would be here. I think,
right.
Is what they're going for. They're like, yes, we also remember Thunderbird.
Yes.
So the Kitty accidentally causes a spell to happen where the Nagari demons possess Banshee, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Sunfire, but explicitly not Wolverine, because they're like, we're not.
Yeah, we need Wolverine on the good side.
It's like, we're not going to try and possess him. That seems like a mistake.
Yes.
Very funny. Did like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go get Bloodstones from all these other X-Men from the original 5. Meanwhile, Magik, who we are led to believe is Ilyana Rasputin for this whole thing, is trying to stop them, failing, and then sucking up all of the 05 who lost part of their soul into her sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The way the series is structured is each issue is another target. It's all right. So the first issue is the new X-Men. The second issue is Storm. The third issue is Banshee and Sunfire. The fourth issue is Colossus and Nightcrawler. And the last issue is Wolverine and Thunderbird. So
see, that's what I'm saying. I think they, because they knew this was coming up when they gave Thunderbird a code name, even though he appears in an X-Men Unlimited before he joins the Revolutions team, he doesn't get a code name till then.
So the way in which this is broken up, you have this very disjointed story where different protagonists and different antagonists of X-Men are fighting each other for very silly, nonsensical reasons, which is comics. You know, comics do this all the time, but this is extra silly and makes very little sense because you do have Belasco plotting, you have the Nagari plotting, you have Pilgrim. You have the Revolution X-Men era X-Men of the 05, you know, whatever. I'm putting heavy quotes on that. And then you have, you know, the possessed X-Men, and you have Magik running around. It's a lot to keep track of. And yet very little actually happens in these 5 issues. That sounds like it's busy. It's really not. It's a lot of very boring non-fight scenes, right?
You would think if they are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the new X-Men, that these stories would tap into, shed light on, or do anything interesting with the new X-Men.
Nope.
Like, and in fact, they are the ones who are possessed.
Yes.
It is more the 05 minus Cyclops plus Polaris have more agency in this than them. Magik has more focus on this. Thunderbird has significantly more focus than any actual member of the new X-Men.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm not fully against that in concept. It just seems weird if you're marketing this as this is the new X-Men, you know, from Giant Size, and not actually be about them. That's a wild choice, entire Marvel team.
It is very strange. And you are bringing back these heavy hitters from X-Men history to help create this book, but it's a terrible pitch, and the art is not good. You know,
I like Altitha Martinez's
stuff. There's all right. Let me put it this way. Would you say that any of the interiors really rise above like fill-in art though? Like, does this strike you as something that this anniversary issue, this landmark miniseries, like, does this really strike you as like the kind of art that goes along with something like that? Because this doesn't strike me as that. It has these.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's just okay.
It's fine.
It's like, fine.
It's the year 2000 and Marvel is running out of money.
They've
already gone through bankruptcy.
Yeah.
They are, I believe Bendis described it as the first time he was in the office, he saw them wheeling away filing cabinets to be sold.
Yeah, well, Mav keeps telling the story on Gosh Golly Wow about how they were literally selling the furniture outside of the office, like in the late 90s. So it's not surprising, you know. So this is not a quality book by any stretch of the imagination. And these versions of the Claremont Revolutions era, I mean, gosh, what is Jean in this era? Like, it's just awful.
I understand Jean in this era. I kind of like that Claremont decides that he has to find a way to give her agency and lead without Scott being around.
Oh, it's more that she is back to kind of being helpless. And
because she doesn't have her because her and he did the thing with her and Psylocke switching powers, and that didn't really work.
Yeah. So anyway, the Black Sun, by the way, what is Black Sun?
Oh, I don't know.
What is it, Claremont? Because you don't ever tell us. No idea what that has to do with the story or why it's called that. But the story does end with, Magik showing up. Turns out this is a really funny thing that happens at the end. Anyway, before I get to the funny thing, she restores the souls of our all new.
Everyone's got their souls back.
Congratulations. And then Nightcrawler is like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Amanda?" And
Amanda, it's you. Hey, what's up, girl?
Yeah,
been a bit.
But before that, I think it's Kitty who's like, "Should we tell everybody?" And Amanda Sefton's like, "Don't tell them." I'm going to concentrate on my duties. And immediately Nightcrawler's like, Amanda!
Hey, it's my girlfriend's sister. Love that
So
for him.
funny.
Listen, that's a certified Claremont banger right
that
there.
That one got a chuckle out of me. That one made me laugh. Aside from that, there is not a lot to recommend here.
It's boring and sucks. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very
Magic's
bad.
not even as cool as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And in fact, I can imagine at the time it would be a bit of a letdown to have Ileana Rasputin be like teased this whole time and be like, actually, it's Amanda Sefton.
Yeah, right.
That
because
seems
Colossus
like
gets his
not
hopes
a
up.
fun twist.
Poor Colossus does get his hopes up, and he's like, "Could it be my little snowflake?" And it's like, "Yeah, no, that's Kurt's girlfriend."
They keep talking about how Ileana died when in Fatal Attractions or whatever, or right before Fatal Attractions, which I guess is true. But she also died during Inferno. Like, let's be real, she hadn't mattered since Inferno.
Right.
She had 5 years of being around.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we've probably spent enough time on this terrible book, and I definitely think that it is worse than the X-Men Unlimited story that we were just talking about, which was.
I'm not going to fight for the honor of X-Men Unlimited.
No, I mean, come on,
it's
bad.
worse. It's worse than at 693, X-Men 67 through 70, Infinites of Evil.
Oh, I think we're
Infinity. It's Infinities of Evil.
Yeah, I mean, we're at least.
Have I been pronouncing that thing wrong for a very long time, or just I guess not pronouncing, reading it wrong?
Well, in your defense, it is spelled Infinites of Evil in our spreadsheet. So, is it supposed to be Infinities of Evil?
Are Infinites and Infinity spelled the same?
No, one has an I towards the end, IES, as opposed to just TES. They're spelled differently. They're two different words. I guess we need to go double check.
This is for the elders to decide. That's not on me.
We'll double check Marvel fandom on that. Which by saying that, I also mean that I will immediately forget and not ever look.
Not remembering even a little bit, even what we were talking about.
We're in the 700s here, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, no, we're in the 700. How do you feel about this compared to Prophet Cable?
Oh my God, I would much rather read Prophet Cable. And that was terrible.
Prophet Cable was pretty bad.
It was really bad. I'd much rather read the Survival Guide to the Mansion at 725.
I saw a Survival Guide to the Mansion recently. The Soul Sword Trilogy, which is what it's called, is better than this. That's at 738.
Yeah, that at least has a couple Bill Sienkiewicz pages, right? To tease you. Trying to think of just how bad this is. Just better or worse than Crimson Dawn at 749.
It's exactly as Crimson Dawn as Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, but like it's Liberators is at 751. I feel like this is worse than that.
Liberators isn't. Yeah,
like that is at least coherent. It's terrible.
But... Adam, it is.
Oh,
this is probably better than Secret Invasion X-Men.
Okay,
that's at 763.
But it's not as good as Part 1 of X-Men: The End at 758.
Let's put it below that, below Phoenix Endsong, below Generation X Annual 1995 with Mondo, above Young X-Men number 7.
Okay, so this is going to be our new 761.
Yeah, I'm mad at Young X-Men for reasons that will be revealed soon.
That actually might be too high. But you know what? Let's keep it there.
Okay, look. If anyone wanted to argue anything, let's say between Ages of Apocalypse at 779 and like the Wolverine Viper Wedding at 746, that's kind of like we just don't want to talk about this anymore section.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at 774, which is Crimson Pirates, and this is better than that. Like, that was truly awful. So 761 it is. And that was our Amanda Sefton trip to Limbo. Not bad.
We had a day trip right there. A Sunday driver, yeah?
Yes.
It took me so long till I found out. But Adam.
Yes.
I found out.
I'm happy for you.
Folks, those are the lyrics to the Beatles song Day Tripper. It's very famous.
I'm sure our Beatles fans got that one.
I'm concerned about the youths.
You are?
That listen to this podcast, the ones that wouldn't know about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, yes. Fair.
the youths that we have been. Adam was also singing a lot in this episode, Black Hole Sun,
Mhm.
which you probably know from the popular video game Rock Band. Fun fact, I hate Black Hole Sun. I think that song sucks. It's too long.
It's Soundgarden had some really weird songs.
Here's the thing. Spoon Man is my jam.
Spoon Man's fun.
Rusty Cage, I'm in it. Black Hole Sun, I think, is insufferable, and it's the reason why of the big four grunge bands of the early 90s, Soundgarden is easily my least favorite.
Soundgarden has fun fact. First real concert that I went to was Soundgarden. Openers were Tad and 11. Yes, listeners, those are bands. You can Spotify that. And what you mentioned Spoon Man, they had just finished editing the Spoon Man video for this, like before this tour started. And so the evening, their performance started with a projector and playing the Spoon Man video for everybody in this college auditorium. The guy going clickety 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 with the spoons. Amazing stuff.
Spoon Man rules because Spoon Man is in such a wild time signature for a popular song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. It's 7/4. It's 7/4 and then 4/4 alternating.
Great.
It's wild.
Gotta love it when 90s bands did that. I think Trent did that a couple times. Good stuff. All right, we got to wrap this one up. Zach, we got another one to do.
We do. We're recording back to back, folks. This is more for me and Adam than you. You guys don't care. You're waiting a week to get this. But it does mean, as you're used to, the second episode that we recorded tonight is even looser.
Gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be, and we're gonna need it because while Jay Kennard blessed us with Magik Volume 2, and if you want to bless us with themes or things or whatever, patreon.com/Battle of the Atom. You can always find the show on Comics XF. It's great. We love it. But next week, Mr. Birthday Boy, we got a magma episode.
Whoa! Explosive.
It's going to be hot, hot, hot. Until then, folks. This has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!